Hi, this is Gideon Fidelzeid, Managing Editor of PR Week. I'm very pleased to be joined by Chris Robichaud, CEO of PMK BNC. How are you, Chris?
Excellent.
Great.
Excellent.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You've been with PMK BNC for how long?
22 years.
Wow, amazing. That's great. And I'm sure there's been a lot of exciting things going on at the agency throughout that period. One of the more exciting things that I've recently learned about is you guys have brought science to the entertainment branding relationship with this fan DNA tool, which I know that you're really excited about. So I'd like to give you the floor to really talk about that.
Yeah, our agency is known really in the entertainment world because we have so many really famous people and properties that we represent. Mm-hmm. But we've also always had a really strong brand practice in working with consumer brands who want to leverage pop culture and entertainment. The thing that we really started to do was to develop out this idea of science of popular culture. And one of the first things that we wanted to tackle was that in today's world, there's so many people who work with celebrities, but they just make decisions based on their gut or based on what they read in the Us Weekly or People magazine mm-hmm. as to who they associate with their brand. And we want to really put a little science to that. So there's tools out there like Q-Score that have been around forever that really look at awareness of celebrities, but it just ends there. And then you have other entities that are looking and saying, okay, well, Rihanna has 40 million Facebook fans, so she would be good to associate with my brand. But again, you don't know what that really means. So we created this tool with our partners at Interpret, which is a research firm mm-hmm. In Los Angeles. It's been around for a long time. That really sort of takes that idea to the next level, and we modeled it over how brands look at and track themselves. So we looked at brands have brand tracking studies where they look at attributes and they look at their customers and really what has influence over their customers. And so we started to apply that to celebrities. So the tool's called Fan DNA, and it really focuses on three different categories: awareness, likability, and ultimately influence. Does mm-hmm. that celebrity have influence over their fans? And the exciting thing is that we've got a database now of 500 plus brands and 400 or 500 different celebrities that we can start looking at and start to see what type of influence these celebrities have and are they a good fit. And the whole idea isn't to be a magic machine that decides, oh, this brand and this celebrity should be together. Sure. It's not the ultimate matchmaker. It's just to start to add that idea of having some type of research to base a decision on, because people are spending hundreds of thousands, millions, tens of millions of dollars on partnerships with celebrities, but they're doing it all from the gut. And what we realize is that there's a big opportunity for people to have something to really start putting some context around a celebrity and who their fan base is.
Very interesting. I look forward in the near and long-term future to see how this new tool helps a lot of the clients that you work with, so that'll be very interesting. Being so closely linked to entertainment PR, that I know that you guys do a lot of corporate work, but I have a feeling a lot of people in the audience might not know quite so much about that. So why don't you talk a little bit about your corporate clients and maybe some of the challenges or triumphs or whatever in terms of dealing with the clients just on that level?
Yeah, it's always been a challenge. Number one, with our headquarters in Los Angeles, people associate, oh, well, that's mainly entertainment. That wouldn't be a brand PR agency, especially a consumer brand PR agency. But we've always made it a mandate from day one that our business is to have a solid brand, consumer brand communications agency and a solid entertainment agency all merged together and provide the bridge between the two worlds. And so fast forward 20 years, what we have is exactly that. And we're working with major brands across every spectrum, whether it's Audi or Beiersdorf, doing their consumer-related public relations. And we're also working with the likes of talent, the most recognizable faces in the world, whether it's a Cameron Diaz or a Jimmy Kimmel, as well as entertainment properties like the Emmy Awards mm-hmm. or the CW Network, where we're working with all these different brands in both sectors, and it's really sort of this unique mix. And the interesting thing is that as popular culture grows stronger in our society because of the digital age and because there's so much noise and it provides sort of that universal language to break through, we see how this specialty is so important to consumer our clients on both sides, because it's really about being part of the conversation, not just starting the conversation and avoid and hoping to attract people to it.
Well, last year you guys opened up your first international office in London. And I'd just like you to talk a little bit about the rationale behind that and what you hope to accomplish there, and if there's any future plans for growth beyond that.
Yeah, when we merged with PMK 3 years ago, the whole idea on both sides, from the BNC and PMK side, was that let's create a leadership agency in the space of popular culture. And we understood that when we talk about pop culture, it's no longer something that's just here in New York, LA, or in the US. It's something that goes beyond the borders. And with digital, it's instantaneous. What's happening here is news immediately at the same time in London or in Latin America or in Asia. And so we really need to have a global mindset. It used to be about, okay, well, let's do the domestic campaign and then the international campaign when it comes to entertainment. But now that really is out the window, right? Because if someone's doing a press junket and it's in London, well, that's going to be big news over here the minute it happens. You can't think that it's just going to stay there. And so we really need to make sure that as an agency, we not only have our team that can think globally, but we also need strategic outposts around the world so that we can activate for our clients globally. And so London is an obvious first stop, and we think with the Olympics it's an obvious time where there's going to be a change in thinking and really people starting to look at how they do things, just because the Olympics is one of those seminal points where everyone has to, they're asking companies in London to have everybody telecommute for 2 weeks to help ease traffic. So, right there's a perfect example where businesses there have to rethink how they do things. So we think it's the same in the world of PR and communications and integrated marketing over there. There's going to be a point where people are going to look at things different, and the Olympics is that, and we think it's a great place to start.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, as both as the managing editor of this magazine and as a huge entertainment junkie, about obviously you work with some of the biggest stars in the world. I mean, what are the challenges or even just the cool things about working with some of these people?
Well, the cool part is that you have to pinch yourself a lot because you find yourself in amazing situations. We get to work with amazing people. We get to meet amazing people, and it really gives you that push to always want to do better and always want to go on to the next thing. The challenge is that there's so much misconception. And media focuses so much on celebrity today, and it used to be our role was the gatekeeper, but now there's no gate to keep. So our role is we are really working with our talent on a 24/7 basis, and so it becomes people start to make perceptions of the talent in a way that isn't real. And so I think the important thing and the challenge from a brand perspective is getting brands to understand, okay, this is how this person they're a brand also. Understand their brand just like you want them to understand yours, and let's find a way to work together rather than, oh, well, this is that persona, because it's so much. The persona is 10% right. Wow. In some cases it may be, but for the most part, I think that just having that understanding that just because it's perceived one way in the magazines doesn't mean that that's the reality. So
we really don't know Charlie Sheen at all, do we? Anyway. No comment is perfectly fine for that one. Anyway, Chris, I want to thank you very much for joining me this morning. It's really been fascinating learning a little bit more about your agency. And again, thank you so much, Chris. And thank you all for joining us today. Thanks.